course, we'll add in our looks like I need to change my jar out a little bit. If you're a sourdough bread baker, you probably have the same problem that I do. What do you do with your sourdough starter discard? We feed it every day, we have a bunch of discard, and if we're not using it for baking bread, we need to find something to do with it. And today I'm going to show you how I make a very classic and absolutely effortless Italian cake called ciambella. But we're going to change it up a little bit, and we're going to add in our sourdough starter discard. So instead of putting that discard in the compost, we're going to mix a portion of it into our batter for the cake. And I find it brings more tenderness to this cake, a little bit of added flavor complexity. It's by no means going to add a lot of sourness, but it's a really good way and a really easy way to use up that sourdough starter discard. Because this cake is super flexible, you can use lemons, oranges, sambuca. There's endless varieties of this cake. You only need 2 bowls, a whisk, a baking pan, and then some ingredients that for sure you already have in your kitchen. The recipe that I'm going to show you today is for a lemon and limoncello version, but you can swap out the lemons for oranges or the limoncello for just lemon juice. There's a lot of options for kind of tailoring this sourdough discard cake to whatever you have in your kitchen, and it is absolutely effortless. It takes just 2 mixing bowls and a bundt or tube pan. You could even use a round cake pan. All of those things will work just fine. You can mix this batter together in probably 10 minutes and then just toss it in the oven and bake it. I guarantee when you make this, it's going to probably go at least half of it that first day. It is so good and so easy. Let's get started. This recipe, we're going to use a 9.5 inch tube pan. This is an aluminum pan. I'll leave a link in the description below. You can find this online. If you don't have one of these tube pans, you can use any bundt pan that you have. Will work great. We'll add a little bit of oil to the pan. I've never had a problem with my ciambella sticking to a pan like this, aluminum pan, and this greasing definitely helps. If you're using a bundt pan, I would oil or grease and flour that as you normally would if you are worried that that might stick. So in a medium mixing bowl, we're going to add our flour. We'll add our baking powder, salt, and the zest of 1 lemon. A larger bowl, we're going to add our 3 eggs and our sugar. Whisk these together until the mixture gets a little bit bubbly. We'll add our oil. We'll add the milk. Limoncello. Vanilla extract. And of course we'll add in our ripe sourdough starter. Whisk everything together again. Our dry mixture. Using a rubber spatula, just fold the flour into the liquid. We want to avoid over mixing here, but we need to make sure that there's no streaks of flour anywhere. It's okay if the batter is a little bit lumpy. Just as long as you don't see any dry flour hiding around inside the batter, you're at the right mix. I like to use my spatula to just even out the top so we're at the same height all the way around. Now that everything's in the tube pan, I'm gonna place this on a baking sheet and right into the oven. You'll know the ciambella is done when you insert a knife into the center and it comes out clean. Once your ciambella is finished baking, I like to take it out of the oven and let it cool on a wire rack for about 10 minutes in the pan. That gives it a chance to fully set. And then after that time, I'll use a small offset spatula, or you could use a knife and just put it down the sides to help remove from the pan. Carefully turn it out and let it cool fully on the wire rack. After that, when it's fully cooled, I like to dust on some powdered sugar. Totally optional, but I like it. It gives it a little bit of sweetness and some more visual appeal. There's just so much lemon flavor that comes through in this cake. It's really kind of bright, very citrusy, but there's a depth of flavor there that I can only attribute to the sourdough starter. I just love how easy this cake is to make, and using your sourdough starter makes it that much better. Not only are we using something that would normally go in the compost, but we're making a cake that would be downright delicious on its own. So I hope you give this ciambella a try, and happy baking.